Good morning. It's 5 a.m. here in Costa Rica, and today we're on our way to Diriá, one of Costa Rica's least visited national parks. We have about 2 hours left to drive, and dawn is luckily just around the corner, so I would say let's get cracking. See you there. So as predicted, we're here about half an hour before the park opens, but that's hardly a problem. I just did a quick stop here on the road leading into the park, and it's already very, very beautiful. I'm really looking forward to this day. Okay, the birding on this road is so much fun that I'm losing track of time a little bit. I still want to make it into the national park, but we've had warblers, vireos, we've had the motmots, we've had orioles, we've had the flycatchers, the jays. All right, let's head on to the park. It's just 1 kilometer from here, but with my current pace, that's an hour, so speed up a little bit. Well, here we are. It's very interesting. Here by the river, everything is very lush and green, but then you move a little bit away from it and you see it's really dry forest, and it's dry season. As you might be able to tell, it's yet another windy day here, which is a little bit worrying, not only because of the impact it might have on the birding, but also because these forests aren't exactly the safest places in very windy weather. But we'll give it a shot, and we'll see how. It's a nice trail, but it's eerily quiet today. I wonder if I did end up spending too much time on the road to the park. Yeah, I would say overall this was quite enjoyable. I did the little loop trail, saw some disgruntled hikers along the way who were apparently very unhappy for driving here and finding out that the trail is done in 15 minutes if you have a good pace. But for birding, of course, it takes a little longer. But yeah, overall pretty nice. I would argue the birding on the road to the park was a little bit better than it was in the park, but that's also due to the fact that it was earlier. Yeah, activity died down quite a bit when I was on the trail, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But there is one last thing that I'm wondering about. There's a road that goes apparently through the park, and I saw on eBird that there's another hotspot in the park, the radio towers. I wonder if you can drive there. I don't see the ranger anymore, and I read online that sometimes they're here and sometimes they're not. So I think I'm just gonna give it a shot. Wish me luck. The answer is that sadly it is not really advisable to drive there. Maybe it's a nice hike, but not today. But you know what time it is? I drove all around the town of Santa Cruz to find some roadside empanadas, but I failed. So today we will be sampling musmani. I've got a nice selection of stuff here. I feel it's all factory produced. Let's have a look. What did I buy? This is what they call an empanada. The weight of the thing makes me question that. And these I'm excited about. These are patties, so basically Caribbean empanadas. We have what they call a taco de queso. Let's see. So the patty is filled with a spicy-ish frijol paste, so bean paste. I've had better. Now the taco de queso. Ham and cheese, actually. This is not bad. And finally, I'm not gonna finish them all now. The actual empanada. I have to say I don't like these puff pastry empanadas as much. It's alright. So musmani, the final verdict. If you can't find decent roadside empanadas, it's like an emergency solution. See you next time. Something that we could do is we could go to Pozo de Agua, which is supposed to be a very nice wetland habitat just outside of Nicoya, which is where we're going back to anyways. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, I have no idea what's going on. I think I stumbled into a rodeo or something, but we're going to have a look. I'm here in Pozo de Agua. You can probably barely hear me because of the wind. This is a beautiful, beautiful place. Just look around. The little laguna behind me, it's full of wood stork and some other little shorebirds that I have to take a close look at now. I came here at the worst possible day, I think, because Pozo de Agua behind me in the back, maybe you can see it, which means they're charging for parking and it's very, very busy. But the laguna is still quiet. Having a little bit of a hard time filming here because of the wind. Maybe this works? No. Let me try like this. So down here I think the wind is somewhat in check. I'm trying to block it off with my back. Such an amazing spot here, honestly. Beautifully preserved wetland, such an important habitat, and lots of cool birds. We've seen plenty of them. I've never seen so many wood storks in the same spot in my life. There's a purple gallinule, there are jacanas, there's a hawk flying overhead, there are swallows about, there are egrets, there are herons everywhere. It's a dream, it's a dream. But on a less windy day, I'll come back here, do a full video on this. Now let's walk back, log our findings on eBird, and let's go to the rodeo. Yeehaw! Did I step in horse poo? I think it's very likely, but that was fun. Not the stepping in horse poo, but the fiesta. But that's another thing that I love about birding. It takes you to places that otherwise you would never visit. These are experiences that you would miss otherwise.